Well, hello and welcome to our program tonight. It is always good to have you with us. I had a great program last week, a great evening. Had the longest program we've ever had. I think we wore everybody out. Everybody was about ready to go by the time we got through, but they seemed to enjoy it. So we're going to stay with our first Friday of the month being request night. And by the way, we set an attendance record last week. Our old record had been 179, and my stats at the end of the program said we had 185, but I know I saw it and two or three other people saw it because they wrote it in the comments where they saw 187 at some point. So we'll take 185. We'll call that the record because that is the stat that it gave me at the end. And we had almost 1,500 non-concurrents, so it was a great night. Wonderful spring weather where I'm living. I hope y'all are having some good weather. I hope you're healthy and not suffering from any illness of any sort. But for those of you that are, we send out our prayers and hopes to you. But I know you came to hear some music, so let's get into the musical portion of our program this evening. For our first song tonight, I'm going to do you a song that was written by Albert Brumley in 1937. I was getting to my third album by the time I came upon this song, and I was familiar with it, but it wasn't really one we grew up singing in church. But, you know, quartets did it, and you certainly heard it if you heard any gospel music at all back in the 50s and 60s and what have you. But a fellow named Albert Brumley, I love Albert Brumley. Brumley wrote Jesus Hold My Hand, I'll Meet You in the Morning, I'll Fly Away. But he also wrote this song, wrote this in 1937. He said that people would call him all the time. By that time, he had gotten to be a rather successful songwriter. And he had several songs that people would record and play on the radio. And said people would call him and go, Albert, turn your radio on. Such and such of your songs is being played right now on such and such a station. And he said one day it just hit him. Why not take that phrase and make a gospel song out of it? So he wrote this great song, and we're going to do our version of it for you tonight. It's called Turn Your Radio On.
Come and listen into the radio station where the mighty host of heaven sing. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. If you want to hear the songs of Zion coming from a land of endless spring, get in touch with God. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. And listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Heaven's glory share. Heaven's glory share. Turn the lights down low. Turn the lights down low. And listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Brother, listen into the Gloryland chorus. Listen to the glad hosannas roll. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Get a little taste of joys awaiting. Get a little heaven in your soul. Get in touch with God. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. And listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Heaven's glory share. Heaven's glory share. Turn the lights down low. Turn the lights down low. And listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. And listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Heaven's glory share. Heaven's glory share. Turn the lights down low. Turn the lights down low. And listen listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
Alan Jackson did an album of gospel songs. And one of the ones that was on that album was a song called I Want to Stroll Over Heaven with You. And I know we talk about it on our chat room, how we would love to get together and play together and jam together and sing together. And if I was younger, we'd make that happen. But as it is, it would be very difficult for me now with certain issues that I have for us to be able to do that. But we will do that in heaven one day. Alan Jackson did the song. The Happy Goodmans did the song. Third Time Out did the song. A young man named Owen Mack did the song. Several people have done this song. But we're going to do our version of it for you tonight. It's called I Want to Stroll Over Heaven with You.
I surveyed all the good things that come to me from above. If I could count all the blessings from the storehouse of love, I'd simply ask for the favor of Him beyond mortal men, and I'm sure that He would grant it again. I want to stroll over heaven with you some glad day, where all the troubles and heartaches are vanished away. Then we'll enjoy the beauty where all things are new. I want to stroll over heaven with you. Places of beauty we long to see here below. The time and treasures have kept us from making plans, as you know. But come the morning of the rapture, together we'll stand anew, while I stroll over heaven with you. I want to stroll over heaven with you some glad day, where all the troubles and heartaches are vanished away. Then we'll enjoy the beauty where all things are new. I want to stroll over heaven with you. I want to stroll over heaven with you some glad day, where all the troubles and heartaches are vanished away. Then we'll stroll over heaven with you. I want to stroll over heaven with you.
This next song I'm going to do tonight is from my How Beautiful Heaven Must Be CD. This song was written, or actually it was published in 1949. It started being written in 1945. But a fellow named Ira Stanfill was in a meeting in Dallas, Texas one night. It was an evangelical meeting, and a businessman got up to speak. And he told this story. He said his business was not doing well, and he was kind of depressed one afternoon, so he decided to get in his car and take a ride. So he goes on this ride, and he kept getting further and further off the beaten track, and he got out on this little dirt road, and he comes upon this little girl standing in front of this house that wasn't much, and she had a little doll in her hand that was kind of tattered, but she seemed okay with it all. She seemed quite happy, and he just had to stop and ask her, said, "Sweetie, how can you be so happy when you live like this?" You know, here he was feeling a little bit depressed because his business wasn't doing so well, though he was a successful businessman, so he had plenty. But she said, "'Cause my daddy just came into some money, and one day he said he's going to build us a house over that hill right there." And Ira said he went away from the meeting that night just so impressed by that story, because the man went on to tell how, you know, he put his faith back in God and he quit worrying about the business. And obviously he probably worked toward getting it back on track, but nonetheless he became successful again. So Ira wrote this song to help us have faith in our Father that he's going to take care of business. As long as we take care of our end of the business, he'll take care of his end of the business. Now, he doesn't want to do it all. He wants you and I to do some too. So we have to be responsible. We have to make good decisions. We have to not do stupid stuff. He gave us common sense so we don't do stupid stuff. But anyway, Ira wrote this great song. Like I said, he started writing it in 1945, but it was published in 1949. It's called "I've Got a Mansion Just Over the Hilltop."
I'm satisfied with just a cottage below, a little silver and a little gold. But in that city where the ransomed will shine, I want a gold one, that silver line. I've got a mansion just over the hilltop, in that bright land where we'll never grow old. And someday yonder we will never more wander, but walk the streets that are purest gold. Though often tempted, tormented and tested, and like the prophet, my pillow was stone. And though I find here no permanent dwelling, I know he'll give me a mansion my own. I've got a mansion just over the hilltop, in that bright land where we'll never grow old. And someday yonder we will never more wander, but walk the streets that are purest gold. deserted or lonely, I'm not discouraged, I'm heaven bound. I'm just a pilgrim in search of a city. I want a mansion, a harp and a crown. I've got a mansion just over the hilltop, in that bright land where we'll never grow old. And someday yonder we will never more wander, but walk the streets that are purest gold. I've got a mansion just over the hilltop, in that bright land where we'll never grow old. And someday yonder we will never more wander, but walk the streets that are purest gold.
This next song that we're going to do tonight, it was written by a lady named Eliza Hewitt in 1898. She, along with a lady named Emily Wilson, wrote this song. Emily was the music writer and she was the poet. In another episode, I tell you about her story, but tonight, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the song. The song went on to be put into 270 hymnals. I put it on my How Beautiful Heaven Must Be album. And other people that have done, a lot of people have done versions of this song, but namely Alan Jackson, Brad Paisley, the Gaithers. Of course, the Gaithers have done so many songs, you know, with their their song meetings and sort of stuff. But anyway, this song has just been done by a lot of different people. It was written in the late 1800s during the evangelical era, when they would have camp meetings and revival meetings and things of that nature. But it's a song that we all love to sing. It's called When We All Get to Heaven.
Sing the wondrous love of Jesus, sing His mercy and His grace. In the mansions bright and blessed, He'll prepare for us a place. When we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory. While we walk the pilgrim pathway, clouds will overspread the sky. But when traveling days are over, not a shadow, not a sigh. When we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory. Let us then be true and faithful, trusting, serving every day. Just one glimpse of Him in glory will the toils of life repay. When we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory. Onward to the prize before us, soon tread the streets of gold. When we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory. When we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory.
This next song is the song I'm going to do for you from my Angel Band CD. I was, after playing Walmarts for a while and not really having an audience to play to, I was standing there just singing my songs, kind of like a human jukebox, but it was giving me a chance. I was changing over to gospel music from secular music, and it was giving me a chance to learn the words to my songs and get them up to performance quality and what have you. And when Walmart ended, I started playing a flea market up near Cherokee, North Carolina, called Uncle Bill's Flea Market. And the first day we went in there, it was just sort of a test to see if we fit and what have you. And he put me by the cafeteria. Well, after we got through that day, he came over to me and he said, I'm just an old heathen, which I beg to differ, Uncle Bill. You're a good guy. You're not a heathen. But he said, I'm just an old heathen, but something about you I like. And that started a 5-year friend. Well, been a continuous friendship, but we were working together for 5 years after that. And he said, why don't I put you over there in the middle section of the flea market, and we'll put some chairs in there. And it was a covered area. Actually, it was the best place on the whole lot, because everybody that walked down the long string of that flea market walked right by you. So the next thing I know, now I've got people sitting in chairs out here, and I'm the human jukebox, not talking much. And God works in mysterious ways. After about 2 or 3 weekends, some fella came up to me and he said, that song you sang, It Is No Secret? I said, yeah. He said, that song was written by Stuart Hamblin, and I saw him one night in a service, and he told this story. Well, he went on to tell the story. In another episode, I tell that story about how he came to write It Is No Secret. But a light bulb goes off in my head, and I'm going, wait a minute. Almost every song has a story. There's some reason that the guy wrote it. Now, the internet was in its infancy back then. This was the late 1990s, early 2000s, something like that. 2001, I think it was. But anyway, so I got thinking about it, and I pondered the story he told me, and it was logical. I went online, and sure enough, it checked out. So the next day I thought, well, I'll tell that story. So before I did the song, I told the story about Stuart Hamblin writing that song. And I noticed that the people were just sitting there mesmerized. They were almost paying more attention when I told the story than they were when I was singing the song. So I thought, this is it. All I got to do is go find out the stories to as many of my songs as I can. And sure enough, I was able to, probably half the songs that I performed, I could find something to talk about. Well, suddenly now I had my program. I could stand there and tell the stories. And I never realized that 20 years later I'd be telling these stories again on YouTube. But nonetheless, that's how I came to tell my stories about the songs and everything. And I don't know the man's name, but I'll always be grateful to him, because I may or may not have ever thought about doing this had he not told me that story. But tonight I'm going to do my version of it for you, that great Stuart Hamblin song, It Is No Secret What God Can Do.
The chimes of time ring out the news, another day is through. Someone slipped and fell Was that someone you may have longed for added strength, your courage to renew? Do not be disheartened, for I bring hope to you. It is no secret what God can do, what He's done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. There is no night, for in His light you'll never walk alone. Always feel at home wherever you may roam. There is no power can conquer you while God is on your side. Just take Him at His promise. Don't run away and hide. It is no secret what God can do, what He's done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. It is no secret what God can do, what He's done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. It is no secret what God can do.
This next song I'm going to do for you tonight comes from my Turn Your Radio On album. It was written by a fellow named Luther G. Presley somewhere around the turn of the 20th century, the early 1900s. Been in several hymnals. The Cathedrals did a version, the Hoppers did a version, the Lefevres did a version, Gold City did a version of it, the Inspirations did a version of it. Several people have done this song. And somebody came into my studio and recorded this right about the time I was looking for songs for that third album. And I just love the song. I don't know that I grew up singing it. I just heard it and became familiar with it while we were working on it for her album. But anyway, I'm going to do my version of it for you tonight. And it's called, I'm Getting Ready to Leave This World.
Laying up my treasures in that home above, rusting, fully trusting in the Savior's love, doing what I can for heaven's holy dove. I'm getting ready to leave this world. I'm getting ready to leave this world. I'm getting ready for the gates of hell. Keeping my record right, watching both day and night. I'm getting ready to leave this world, to prepare a mansion. Jesus said I'll go. If it were not true, I would have told you so. Just a little while to linger here below. I'm getting ready to leave this world. I'm getting ready to leave this world. I'm getting ready for the gates of hell. Keeping my record right, watching both day and night. I'm getting ready to leave this world. I'm getting ready to leave this world. I'm getting ready for the gates of hell. Keeping my record right, watching both day and night. I'm getting ready to leave this world. I'm packing up, getting ready to go, 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 I'm getting ready to leave this world. I'm getting ready for the gates of hell. Keeping my record right, watching both day and night. I'm getting ready to leave this world. I'm getting ready to leave this world.
Right now, I just want to remind you about our website, www.birdyeomans.com. All my CDs are there. My double CDs are there. My songbook's there. There's a couple of specials that we have there. And just want to invite you to come by and take a look at it. If you have any questions, my wife Linda will be glad to help you. Her email address is linda@birdyeomans.com. And thank you so much for being a part of our program. And now we're just going to get you back to the musical portion of the show. This next song I'm going to do for you tonight was on my Angel Band CD. I had been looking for material. You know, this was my 5th CD, so now we've done a lot of the real familiar songs. I'm starting to try to find secondary songs that people like, but and remember and grew up singing and everything. This one doesn't jump out you like an Amazing Grace or I Saw the Light or One Day at a Time or something like that, but you probably remember it. But this is another one that I was so fortunate that my mom visited right about the time I was recording some of these songs, and she helped me do the vocal on this. So that beautiful alto that you hear in the background is my mama. She was 75 years old when she did this. And I had no idea that later we'd be making videos and everything. Of course, I didn't have the equipment then that I have now, so it might not even be where it would be usable. I wish I had been able to get her on video, but that wasn't possible then, and of course it isn't possible now because she's looking down from heaven. But Mama, I love you, and we're fixing to play this for the people, and they're gonna still get to hear your voice. This is my mama and me doing At Calvary. I love you, Mama.
Years I spent in vanity and pride, caring not my Lord was crucified, knowing not it was for me He died on Calvary. Mercy there was great and grace was free, pardon there was multiplied to me. There my burdened soul found liberty at Calvary. By God's word at last my sin I learned, then I trembled at the law I There my burdened soul found liberty at Calvary. Now I've given Jesus everything. Now I gladly own him as my king. Now my raptured soul can only sing of Calvary. Mercy there was great and grace was free. Pardon there was multiplied to me. There my burdened soul found liberty at Calvary. That through salvation's plan, oh, the grace that brought it down to man, oh, the mighty gulf that God did span at Calvary. Mercy there was great and grace was free. Pardon there was multiplied to me. There my burdened soul found liberty at Calvary. Mercy there was great and grace was free. Pardon there was multiplied to me. There my burdened soul found liberty at Calvary. At Calvary.
Come time for the last song of the evening. It just happens so quickly when you're having a good time. For our last song tonight, I'm going to do you a song that we don't really know. We don't know who wrote this song. It just sort of, some people think it goes all the way back to England as a folk song in the folk melody, but it had just fallen out of favor. And of course, many of the songs from Europe were brought over here by immigrants. But a fellow by the name of Charles Tillman is the one responsible for us having this song. Now, he didn't write the song, but in 1887, he and his dad worked in evangelism, and they had camp meetings and one thing and another, and he and his dad also had a painting company. But this is an interesting thing. He also worked on a wagon that sold wizard oil. I don't know if I know most of you are familiar how in the old days they would go out in these wagons and they would sell different types of things from medicine to whatever, and often they would have an entertainer of sorts, a singer or a guitar player or somebody that could travel, and had an instrument that could travel. But it would be a way of drawing people to the wagon. Anyway, he worked on one of those wagons. But by 1889, he had begun to do some publishing. He had opened a publishing company, and he eventually released 20 songbooks, different songbooks of different songs. But this song had appeared in a song list as early as 1877. It wasn't in a form where you could tell what the song was. It was just a title, just in a list of songs. So we know it goes back further than 1889, but he published it in one of his collections in 1889, and that's how we came to know it today. And this is on my Gospel Ship album, and of course Anita and Carol helped me with the vocals on that album, but unfortunately I don't have video of them doing this, but you'll hear them in the background. But my younger brother did the guitar work on it, and I did finally get to get him up to my studio and got him to where I can put him on the stage with me. So we're going to feature Anita and Carol and my brother Mick and myself, and we're going to do this great old song for you. Give me that old-time religion.
Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. It's good enough for me. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. It's good enough for me. It was good for our mothers. It was good for our mothers. It was good for our mothers. And it's good enough for me. It was good for Paul and Silas. It was good for Paul and Silas. It was good for Paul and Silas. And it's good enough for me. So give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. It's good enough for me. Come on, clap your hands and join us. Come on, clap your hands and join us. Come on, clap your hands and join us. It sure sets you free. Makes me love everybody. Makes me love everybody. Makes me love everybody. And it's good enough for me. It will take us all to heaven. It will take us all to heaven. It will take us all to heaven. And it's good enough for me. That old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. It's good enough for me. Come on, clap your hands and join us. Won't you clap your hands and join us? Come on, clap your hands and join us. It's sure to set you free.
Thank you so much for being with us. I hope everybody's enjoying this beautiful spring weather that we're having. Linda and I are about to get ready to plant our little garden. We got a little raised bed garden that we've done the last 2 or 3 years and had fun with it. Doesn't feed us by a long shot, but we just, we enjoy doing that sort of thing. And about ready to get to do that. And I know some of you are about to do the same thing. But anyway, stay healthy and stay happy. And if you get a chance, go by our website, www.birdyeomans.com, if you are interested in any of our CDs or the songbook. And there's some history there as well as some other things. If you have any questions, Linda, my wife, will be able to help you with that. Her email address is linda@birdyeomans.com. Again, thanks for being with us. Be kind to each other this week. I love you. I'll see you next Friday night.